I'm Don Chenz, and I am here with the one and only Marlon Craft.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you being here. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I'm a little bummed about the Knicks loss last night, but otherwise I'm feeling good.
I planned on asking this later, but would you rather them win and have that brutal the gentrification of the Knicks fandom video with all like the kids jumping around trying to recreate that viral video?
Man, I'm almost done. I'm actually almost done saying anything about the Knicks because like it's funny when people be in the comments getting like talking shit about my rapping, I really don't care. Like it doesn't even
bother. The Knicks bother you more?
But when people try to come at my Knicks fandom, like it really activates something in me. I'll be ready to throw my entire life away. Like it's just so deeply connected to my personhood, my relationship with my father, and like all these things that I'm just like, yo, I'm be ready to jump out the windows. Whenever I fucking tweet or say or do anything related to the Knicks, motherfuckers always come out the woodwork trying to question my gangster, and I'm over it, man. I'm over it.
Series is 1-1 right now, right? As of recording,
1-1. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know when this will be out, but we'll see where they're at when this is live. But all right. So hopefully we'll be in a better mood as the interview goes on.
Yeah.
All right. So the internet killed the neighborhood. It's out. The people are loving it. It's incredible. How has the reception been? How has it been promoting it? Like, how do you feel now that it's out? Because obviously you put a lot of time into this one. You really took your time. We're more intentional, it seems like, with this.
Yeah, man. Thank you, bro. It's been really incredible to see. Like you said, I mean, the earliest songs on this were started back in 2020. And then I took the last 2 years to work on it completely. And just seeing the reception, early, how much people understand that it's just the people that have been around already are like, wow, this is on another level. This is your best work. And then there's all these new people getting introduced to me. Or they're like, maybe I heard of your name before, but like, finally, I'm going to check this out. And like, wow. So that means the world to me. But like I was telling you before, I'm even more excited to see how people feel about it a year from now because I really tried to make it to last, and I hope it's something that grows on people,
Yeah, and I told you when you said that, and I mean it. Like it's every time I listen to it, I'm enjoying it more and more. I'm catching more things. Like there's just little nuances I'm picking up. Like I think there's a lot to unpack. I think you get a lot of credit for your like lyrical abilities and your skills as a rapper, but I think like the song structure on this is excellent. There's a lot of ways that you kind of like tie one song to another or like bring a lyric back, I'll notice at different times, or just like your inflection and delivery kind of changing and like amping up almost the stress of what you're rapping about. Like it's really, really, really good. And I hope people check it out if they haven't yet because it's a very good body of work.
Thank you, man. Yeah. And it makes me really excited. Like as people are noticing the little things like that, it really feels worth it because everything was really intentional and just making great songs was the priority. Like I try to put my ego aside as a rapper and just make songs that will last, make an album that you could really either just put on and let play in the background, and the musicality of it and the quality there could just be in the background if you want, or you can deep listen and be like continually unfolding things and whatever. I just wanted to make just aspire to something timeless, and only time will tell if I did that, but it's definitely a project that people are enjoying, so I'm hyped. Yeah.
So if you've been working on it since 2020, at least some of the songs, you said you just started like really putting it together the last 2 years. I assume then the last 2 years was when like the concept of the album kind of came together. Like when did that process start of like, this is what I want it to be about, and kind of like conceptualize the project?
Man, that was probably, I'd have to look at the date of, like the concept was coming together. The lyric, the internet killed the neighborhood is the title. That lyric is on the song Trust. And I wrote that in that session. And so I think that was about 3 years ago, to be honest. And I kind of knew then that was it. I had a different title for it for a while.
What was that?
It was If You Loved Me, You Wouldn't Do That.
You talk about like the love topic a lot, and you like switch it from like if I loved me, like you're kind of talking to yourself, and then you like flip it to like the world. Like you do a lot of that throughout the whole album too. Exactly.
And so like it was like thinking about that idea of how we treat ourselves and then how we treat each other in the world is definitely a theme in the album. And but it kind of turned into that song, If I Loved Me. But yeah, I kind of knew then when I wrote that lyric, I was like, yeah, that's the title of the album. And then as I knew that, I started including it, sprinkling it throughout other songs and stuff too.
Yeah. So how's it been? You've been performing it with a live band for like how many shows? 10 shows, 11 shows, 12 shows? How many shows in are you now?
In New York, in the last 14 months, we've done 10 shows at my NUBLU residency. We did 3 nights in LA as well this year.
Yeah. And you just did the album release show this past weekend. How was that?
That shit was crazy, bro. It was wild because they oversold the venue. So they were giving us the wrong ticket numbers. So they kept giving me the ticket numbers. And I was like, damn, for real? Because it feels like the momentum is good on the album. Like it was the ticket numbers were just a little low. But I was like, we've been doing these shows a lot. So I was like, I'm not tripping, whatever. So I called my boys. I'm like, yo, let's make sure we fill up the guest list crazy because, we'll have some room, so we'll be good. So we put like 70 people on the guest list. And then the day of the show, the morning show, they're like, yo, we sold out. And actually, we oversold by 30 tickets. So the capacity, you can only have 20 people on the guest list. So like I'm tripping. Some of my friends didn't even get in.
Damn.
Like it was crazy and it was wild. But I used to dream about those type of problems. So,
right. Yeah,
so
it's a good problem.
What's up? Yeah.
And did you make the project like wanting to be like, I want to perform this with the live band? Like, was that kind of part of how you wanted to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've always, performed with a band when I can. But in the last year and a half, I've really locked in with my band and this incredible group of musicians and guys that I'm blessed to work with. And but I always, for the big shows, for the New York shows, I tried to incorporate a band, but I've never gotten a rhythm with one and gotten so in sync with one. We're really a unit like this band that I've got now. So the songs, were made at various points over the years. A lot of them were made before I had even met this band. But yeah, that was kind of always my intention. I always just want to make music that's live and that feels alive and lasts.
All right, I'm gonna ask this and then we're gonna get into like kind of go through the album a little bit, but you did the On the Radar Cypher recently and that seemed like a big moment for you. And I want to set first of all, how did you feel like going into it? Were you excited to do it? What was it like being with that group of guys when you were there? Like, just like what was the whole process and experience like?
I was excited, man. Honestly, at first when Gabe called me, well, I mean, I'll just tell you the whole scoop, bro. Like we being cool. Like Kenny hit me and he was like, yo, Gabe wants you to do like some Cypher shit, but like he's not, sure how you're gonna be in. But I told him you're gonna want to do it. And I was like, well, to be honest, I'm really like trying to be on this band shit right now and really center the band. And it's not like of course, there's like rapping all on the album. I'm going to always do freestyles and things like that. But I was just like, I'm not sure. Like, and Gabe called me and explained to me what it was. And at first I was like, damn, am I the old guy in the Cypher? Like, like this the new class, but Gabe, man, he's got the vision, bro. And I'm so appreciative of that dude. And within like 5 minutes, he just explained to me his vision for it and why he wanted me in it. And I was like, absolutely, bro, I got to be a part of this. And yeah, the timing was immaculate. Like there's a lot of things that I couldn't control with the album that didn't go well or were challenges in getting it out. But this was one of those gifts from like the world where it was like, oh yeah, and by the way, it's going to drop right smack in the middle of your rollout. So I was hyped and honored to do it, and those guys are all dope, and it was a really cool, experience.
Yeah, it was very well curated. All those guys I've interviewed, like probably half the guys on that lineup, they're dope. I definitely thought, if you kind of said it, afterwards, a lot of the reaction, you kind of talked about this interview with Rob, a lot of the reaction, there was a lot of people who were like, oh, Marlon Craft, I wasn't familiar with the game. Those pissed me off so much. Like my instant reaction, like, it was great. Excellently curated. On the Radar does a great job. The only thing, if you were like, what would be your number one criticism? I'd be like, I think Marlon's borderline, like, he's too much of a veteran. Like, I don't know, he's been around for a long time. Like,
yeah, but that shows like why it was necessary though.
Yeah.
Because that's what I realized the blessing is that, wow, I'm 10 years in, 8 years in, whatever, and I'm still up next. And I am. My best work is ahead of me, and the album is ahead of me, and I do feel part of that new generation that is like carrying this thing forward. And I also think it's like I didn't get those nods early on.
Right.
It's baffling to people who have been fans of me for a long time because they have so much reverence and respect, which I appreciate crazy that they see me like that. But it's also cool for me, for everyone to see, like, that the world doesn't necessarily see me in that way yet. Because I think sometimes in their vortex, they're like, oh, yeah, I deal with this all the time. Even the politics of which interviews we're going to do and these industry people treating me a certain way. You might get somebody that's like, oh, yeah, this is Marlon Craft. Like, yeah, of course. Like, you're Marlon. Like, you got to come through. We know, like, of course. And then it gets to their boss or whatever. And their boss is like, who the fuck is this white boy? He can't come on the show. He can't do this. Who the fuck is that?
It's crazy.
And it's like that dichotomy is in my face all the time. So it's a beautiful thing to just reach more people, man, and I hope that keeps happening, man, forever.
Well, I also do think it's in a weird way like a good position to be, to kind of like you're over a decade in at this point, I think, right? And like to still be on that upward trajectory, like most people, that's not the direction they're going 10 years in, you know what I mean? Like they may have a hot moment and then it, kind of tails off. So to still kind of be hitting your stride 10 years in, I think is a much better place to be than probably most other people.
That's what I realized. I was like, this is the ultimate blessing. And I started to realize like, oh, this is kind of my story and the example that I can set. Like people get really into people's entrepreneurial journeys. And I don't really fuck with that heavy because I think it de-emphasizes the actual art. And I think it's kind of really just centers everything in capitalism, where it's like, I'm a fan of how you approach the game. And then we sort of lose track of the music not being the priority. And so, but then I realized with this, it's like, oh, kind of what maybe my story is, or what people can take from it beyond the music itself, is how I stayed true to myself over time, how I stood in my integrity and tried to be patient, and how I never stopped growing. Like the arc of my artistry and my personhood, like I just keep trying to grow. And it's not linear. And I've, struggle in my daily life with music, and every day you don't go in there and make something that was better than the day before. But I think that is kind of the example that I hope to embody as an artist. And I'm realizing that that's sort of the message that chose me. I didn't really choose it, but I'm really grateful for it.
Right. And I'm sure that perspective also, comes with age and maturity, and, you've learned that over time, but I'm sure a lot going through it didn't feel as smooth, and like you probably didn't look at it that way, probably frustrating in a lot of scenarios, or like, why the fuck aren't this happening, why isn't this person recognizing that? So it's like you said, not a linear process at all, I'm sure.
My bad. I drank a big ass matcha before I came here. I realized I was dehydrated. Matcha. I was like, I'm shaking. I'll be whipping it at the crib, making it myself.
Making it yourself? You got like a real nice setup?
Man. I'm the stove god of matcha.
Really?
Yeah, I'm whipping.
Are you making like lattes and like cool coffees, or just matchas?
I'm making. I don't do coffee because it cracks me out.
Really?
Like you see the matcha, I'm like,
a matcha doesn't do that to you, bro. They're
all different strengths. It really depends. And a fan brought me as a gift to a show a bunch of these different matchas, so I've been trying them out. But I know the right milk that I like. It's about the proportion, the ratios. We're going to beat the matcha stigma, man. It's not just for white transplant girls. Everyone should enjoy it. It's a strong beverage. Yeah.
I'm like 3 coffees in today. I'm a heavy coffee guy. But I used to also be an energy drink guy, and I had to cut back on that. Those would crack me out.
That shit is just like poison. I got a homie that works with me that would come on the road with us and do the camera, and he would get those from like gas stations. He loved to try different energy drinks. And he would like crack them open in the car, and it's just like the car smells like
like medicine.
Yeah, like medicine. It's nasty.
Yeah. Those things, like I would think I'd feel good, but then I'd be like, why am I so fucking stressed out and like jittery and shit? And like coffee doesn't do that, so I stick to coffee, but drink way too much of it still, probably.
Yeah, it's the come down that'll get you.
Yeah. All right. So the album, I listened to it obviously a lot as we've been leading up to this. I'm trying to find my thing. The songs that really resonated with me the most. You and I are also around the same age. I think we're both born you were born 93, right?
Yeah.
I was born 93 as well.
Let's go.
The songs Together, Sad, and Shoulders. I'm engaged, and I feel
congrats.
Thanks. As of last year, and I feel like a lot of what you were talking about in those 2 songs resonated with me a lot. Like with Shoulders, like that's definitely something that I wrestle with. Like, you're kind of saying you should be able to kind of handle your own shit. And as someone who is in my early 30s, and I feel like by now I should be able to do that, and I still struggle with that all the time. And then like you've said it before with like, and you said in the song like you don't want to put it on your girl, and like you're trying to balance your relationship, and like I'm like battling that all the time. So that song I think really resonated with like I'm literally going through that as I'm listening to this song.
Man, thank you for sharing that, bro. And I really, that makes me very happy because yeah, it's hard, bro, as men. I mean, you know, it's just especially Together Sad as well. Like a lot of people have been telling me they like that song. And it's interesting because when I was playing the album in these different listenings for different like people that I played it for before it came out, no one would really mention that one. And I was kind of surprised by it. I started to get insecure about the song. And my homie Luck was like, yo, that one, I like that one. I like the second one. Like I like that tune. And I was like, nobody's really saying that that's their favorite or that they like it that much. And he was like, bro, motherfuckers not going to say that to you, bro. They're not going to admit that to you in a room of people the way that you're playing this album. He was like, that's a song you got to listen to by yourself. Yeah. And you got to spend time on the train or in your car or whatever, and you spend time with it. And that's what I think's been happening. And I'm really glad people are hearing me and hearing that. And I'm deep in a long relationship as well. So it's a lot of learning that we got to do, you know?
Yeah, I think that's also one of those songs too. Like we were saying, it requires a little more listening to it intentionally to kind of dissect what you're saying. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, like and it's hard to know if it like what the cause is, but it feels like, you know, like me and my fiance, like we're trying so hard, we're working nonstop. We kind of feel like it's literally sad together. Like we're sad we don't have what we want this, but we can't get it. We're working harder, but we're still not getting it. And then you're like feel more isolated, and then we feel kind of isolated together, but also almost like on our own islands because we both want like different things out of life. Like I don't know, it's like a very tough thing that I've been trying to balance in my life. So I don't know, I thought that song was excellent, and like that and Shoulders both kind of like, you know, play off each other.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, man. Yeah, we just lean, you know, on our women in a way that I feel like, you know, we're taught growing up as men, at least for me, you know, it's been growing up in the city. It's like the only emotion that it was really okay to show was like anger and rage. And I always had this deep sadness that I just like didn't really know how to show, share, and express. That's what I've put into music. And I think also when we find love, we tend to, you know, put too much onto our women because we're also conditioned in the same way to feel like they're supposed to carry those emotional burdens, you know, and they're more in touch with those feelings. But there's got to be like boundaries, and you can't OD, and you got to hold down your own shit. And then it can be an emasculating feeling to feel like, man, I can't even carry the weight of my own stresses. Yeah. So that's something I'm still working on, but it's real shit, yeah. And
women also, I think, like, they kind of absorb the emotions of like the people around them a little more too, because they have like a lot more emotional intelligence. I feel like sometimes when you do that, it's almost like they like that weighs on them a lot more than if you just like are saying it to your boy will be like, all right, like, and then just kind of like go on. You know, your woman will kind of like take it on more.
Yeah,
like, I think like people's mothers do that too. Like if I complain to my mother, like I feel like she like will, and it's your mom, but like I think it's like a woman thing too. Like they just like are much more emotionally intelligent, like empathetic and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's there's a lot of displacement of shit that goes on, and I'm blessed to have an amazing partner that has grown with me through all the shit, and we've really grown together. Together Sad was like that was a tough song to make, you know. Sometimes you gotta remember too that these songs, like, you know, I'm really grateful the grace she has to stay with me and work through me through all this shit, because I get to talk about this stuff, express it in my music, but she doesn't have that same agency.
That's true.
You know? So it's like, you know, publicly at least or whatever. So I'm grateful. I'm really grateful.
Yeah. And you talk about later in the album too, you kind of just touched on it before. I forget what song it is, but you say like, I forget, like some artists gave me permission to be sad. I'm giving you permission, like that too. So like that, it very much seems like an intentional thing that you try to like get that message across to the listener. I think you did so very effectively, like especially with those two songs, I thought.
Thank you, man.
I also liked like kind of talking about how you do a lot with the album, like different things kind of tying together. Like it's almost like you have Together Sad, and I again, I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but it's like Together Sad, then you go into Unapologetic where you're more so like talking your shit, and then you get right back into like Shoulders, like another sad song. You go from saying unapologetic to then apologizing on the next song. But then it's also like, I kind of feel that way too of like, you're I can't handle this. Like I have these problems, that problems. You're kind of dwelling in the things that you're stressing about. But then like, I'll have a moment of, nah, I'm the shit, you can't fuck with me, blah blah blah. Like that's kind of like how I feel like my emotions go, like the way you kind of like
when
sequence the track
hits.
yeah, when the
hits.
coffee hits, no one can fuck with me. And then like once it gets late, I'm like, why isn't this working out? Like, fuck, I wish this. Like I feel like that kind of, I don't know if that was intentional.
It's like matcha alcohol. Nah, it's nah, 1,000,000%, because I just realized, it's just, this is what it feels like to be me in this journey of growth. It's like, right, you bounce between these lows and these highs, and especially in the world that we live in with all this consumption and technology that's just making us more and more compulsive and erratic emotionally. So, it's always this constant, vacillation or, oscillation between high and low. So yeah, man, 100%.
Yeah, I feel like the technology, like, I don't know. I don't know what your screen time is. Mine's brutal. I feel like I'm like getting flatter, like emotionally. Like emotionally, I feel flatter and number. I almost feel dumber. Like
I'm so much dumber.
I
bro.
feel so stupid, and I don't know if that's really what it is. But sometimes I now like talk on camera, trying to do it for a living full time, and I feel like I speak worse than I used to.
I be having all these moments where I'm like, yo, I used to be smart. Bro.
Yeah,
I feel like an ex-athlete. Like, like I feel that way about ball. Like when I haven't played and I'm washed and I go out and I'm like, damn, man, this sucks, man. These kids out here don't even know what I would have did. Like I feel that way. My brain is so fried, bro, from stress and from constant just being online and all this stuff, and when I'm able to step away in pockets, I feel it start to come back, and you're just like, holy shit, it's like you took a Limitless pill, and you're just like on some. So it's definitely it's just I retain stuff worse. I mean, and there's so many like negative effects, but it's addictive. It's hard to step away, and when you're trying to have careers like ours, you don't have the luxury of just. It's like working at a bar, being an alcoholic.
Yeah, I can't put it down. It's like, well, this is work. I gotta post. Yeah.
And then you're lying to yourself too half the time about how much you need to be on it. But like it's so wishy-washy, right? You can't really quantify. I'm like, no, like I need to be checking on this. It's like, all right, do you? Like, you know, I don't know. So
I also find it's a lot of like, I'll go to do something with intention that might be like work related or something, but you quickly slip into, now I'm just doom scrolling. Like
why was I even here?
I will forget. Like, wait, why did I open this? Yeah. I literally will forget
all the time, bro. Yeah. All the time that happens to me. Yeah, man, it really is tough. It's something that I'm trying to break. I was talking about it today with people trying to, I mean, even just the ethics of like, can I ethically sell you content in these spaces?
You say that in one of the songs. I forget what song it is. You pretty much say that where you're like, fuck, I forget what the line is, but
yeah, I don't it's like I don't even know. I struggle with that. Like I don't go full content mode where it's like post whatever. But then I'm trying to negotiate with myself like, okay, well if maybe I can hire somebody, a social media manager. I can like do something where schedule everything out so that I'm more detached from it, which I need to do. But then the morality of, but I'm serving it to people in this marketplace that is fucked up, and I'm serving them the very thing that I'm trying to avoid. I'm like a dope dealer.
Yeah.
And it's not that heavy because, the art has substance. It gives meaning to people's lives. There's discovery that's going on, all these things. But I just feel like weird about it, bro. I feel weird about it.
But it's like, is it fucked up though? Like what you were saying, we're doing things that kind of require you to participate in it, but sometimes it's hard to know if everyone else is kind of is struggling as much as I feel like I am with it. Like I know what people are, but sometimes I see other people, I'm like, I don't know. They kind of seem like it's not affecting them as much, but it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell through the screen. But
some people, and then I see some people, and I'm like, whoa, you're way worse than me, and I'm bad. So it's like, you know, so I don't know, but it's also hard to tell. I don't know what people's habits are when they're at home, you know, because I think most people would look at me and think that, you know, I made this album, the internet killed the neighborhood. I mean, I think my brand or whatever you want to call it is like, you know, associated with a little bit above average depth, you know what I mean? Right. Whatever. I think people might be like, if they're fans, they might be like, nah, man, Marlon, he's, you know, he's probably at home reading, bro. He's not like on his phone scrolling, looking at ass. And it's like, I'm trying to be reading.
They want you to see ass. They go out of their way to be like, no, you got to see ass, dude.
I'm like, this can't be my algorithm. Like, you can't be doing, like, I don't know, bro. And that, because then I think about that. I'm like, what if I just go really hard to really intentionally change my algorithm, or if I restart my shit, or if whatever. I mean, I don't know, bro. And then it just becomes, I just fall into the vortex sometimes for days at a time, and it's like, shit is embarrassing, bro. I used to like be like, I used to be smart, man. I'm a published scholar, you know. Nah, I don't know. I think we can get it back though, and I think that's the one of the important, you know, things in the album. I have hope that, you know, first of all, practically we need to figure out how to regulate this shit. But we also just got to change like the culture around it. There's way too much acceptance. Like, people have their phone out in social situations, and I think we need to figure out a way to politely shame. Like, no, I feel strongly like you should be a little bit embarrassed to take a selfie in public, at least a little bit. Yeah. Like, you shouldn't be shamelessly setting up a thing that is like, you know, this sort of shallow rendition of like everyone else is participating in the social fabric of the environment, and you are not. And I take selfies. I need to. Sometimes I need to catch a flick, you know, thing for the gram, so that, because the algorithm doesn't like an actual poster for the show. They like a good outfit.
Yeah,
with
you can't post a flyer.
Right, can't post a flyer.
Can't post a flyer.
Gotta
anymore.
post a good fit and make it seem like I don't give a fuck if you show up or not, right? And then like everyone will come. But like, you know, when I have to do that too. But at least I feel a little bit of like, I better do this shit quick. And I think there's something like innately good in that. Like, we should feel a little bit of shame around this shit because you're self-indulging and you're not participating in the social fabric of community. And so, like, you know, you're not a piece of shit for taking a selfie or do something. We all do it, but it's like the shamelessness, the acceptance. I think we have to not accept, and we have to start guiding each other, reminding each other. Hey, bro, like, if you have a friend that smokes bogues, I'm on him like, yo, bro, stop smoking them cancer sticks, bro. I want you, stop smoking that vape. My man Hawk was on the vape, crazy. Vape, whatever.
I think might be worse.
Yeah,
like,
I'm like,
crazy.
Stop hitting the vape, bro. Stop doing that shit. Like, whatever. Like, I'm giving you shit because I want to see you live. So that's like, I think we gotta like, you know, get there with it.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, like if your buddy's drinking too much, you're gonna be like, dude, we gotta cut that down. If you're smoking, but like no one will really say that too much about, like, because the social media stuff's getting normalized. Everyone's a fucking influencer and content creator now, so it's like it's more normal now to pull your phone out. Like, you gotta film everything now.
It's taboo to shame people around phones, and like, shame is not necessarily the right word, right? But it's like, you can politely call somebody or draw somebody's attention to something or set a standard. Like, if we're like sharing a meeting together or something, and you're like texting while you're talking to me or something, like, I should be able to politely not accept that standard. Like, bro, we're sharing space, we're sharing time. If you can't not scroll on your phone and talk to me, I'm gonna say politely, hey man, can you? And again, not shame, because we all fall victim to it. We all like, oops, oh shit, whatever. But there's got to be some type of etiquette for being like, nah, I'm not gonna accept that. And I feel like if you do that now, it'd be like, whoa, this guy's really uptight. You know what I mean?
We don't view it as like as much of an issue, like as a society. It's just we don't think of it that way.
And those norms change very fast around things. We just have to be intentional about it, you know.
But at the same time, I also see a lot of people using those the block things, like the thing you like literally put it on your phone, you tap it to your phone. Now, like, I can't use it for a certain amount of time, so I retap it. Like, I feel like there are a lot of people starting to like at least make an effort to do that.
I think shit's like cigarettes, you know, like it was really common and everybody did it, and pregnant people smoked, and it was like whatever, and then, you know, we realized what it was doing to people, and then over time we put regulation in place. We, you know, take measures to quit, and so I think.
So you think they really should regulate it like that?
I don't know how.
Yeah, it's like tough to know how.
Yeah, I don't. But first of all, around children, which they're already starting to do, like 1,000,000%.
Yeah, dude. When you see a kid, like I was at dinner the other day, and a kid had the tablet like in its face at the table.
Yeah,
I'd let my kid cry and just like walk out. Like I feel like as a parent, I mean, I don't want to judge parents. I'm not a parent. Maybe I would think differently once I had kids, but it just seems so not good for the kid to be like iPad like in their eyeballs. Like,
yeah, same as you. I mean, I don't know what it's like to be a
Yeah.
parent, but I mean, the data is like there on kids and how depressed it's making them,
Yeah.
and they're starting to regulate it. I think it needs to be, but I don't think you regulate like the people. You have to regulate the companies that are purposefully making this shit addictive and that are purposefully targeting kids and that are like you have to put some regulations around what people can and can't do.
Yeah, I also find like the I feel like the older generations are kind of like almost just as bad, if not worse, too. Like I remember growing up and my parents being like, "Get off Facebook, don't use this, like don't do that," and now they're like, "Look at this AI video of the fucking broccoli doing something fun." It's like, what, dude? Like, what do you want? Like, and they're doing it all day, like all my family. It's crazy.
It's
It's
because
like-
it's a drug, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a drug. Like, it shit is crazy. But this is, this is the part of the interview where a lot of people are gonna click out. They're gonna be like, "All right, guys, like, like talking all this shit about technology." Like, I do feel like the taboo around it is kind of, is kind of real. So,
Yeah.
it's something to be defeated.
Well, sometimes I think also like for me personally, because like I said, I definitely struggle with it. I think a lot of it too is it's just I'm not, and maybe it's just a function of getting older too. Like I'm not doing as much. Like I used to do things that would distract me from using the phone. Like my friends are having kids, everyone's getting older, or like I'm working harder, I don't have time. So I feel like then you just kind of fill that empty space with that, like just because it's convenient in there.
That's real as fuck, and especially as like a rapper, all my friends, most of my friends have different schedules than me. Like I'm down to hang out on a Tuesday,
Right.
But they, and that goes to the piece though of community and neighborhood that I talk about on the album, and was like part of the internet killed the neighborhood. We used to walk outside on our block. People used to just be outside hanging out just to spend time with each other for hours on end, and you might just be distracted by conversation. You might take a walk to the store, come back. You might, just kick it. And I think having things to go do in community with people, looking forward to spending time with people because they're part of your community, those are the things that I miss. And yeah, if I had more things to do in real life that didn't just cost $1 million, and that's a lot of part of on the album too, man. It's what happens to the city. It's like a lot of the culture gets zapped. It fucking costs $300 to go out for a night and do anything.
I can't do anything to go out. If I go out, it's $200, and I feel like I didn't do anything. Like I can't even meet up with my buddies without spending so much money. It's crazy.
It's crazy, bro. So I think but all of this shit like works together as a system to put us in a certain frame of mind where we will consume goods.
Yeah.
And where we will, it's obvious it's a want economy, not a need economy for a long time. And it just puts us in that state of mind where we're just looking for the next dopamine hit, and they don't even have to sell us on a fucking product. They're just selling us on the next 5 seconds of our attention over and over and over again. Every moment is bought and paid for and for sale. So, we got to resist, but it's like really hard. Yeah.
Do you feel like all the social media, the algorithm, the speed at which everything is going, like how has that affected, like throughout your career, like affected how like music is consumed, how people are creating music? Like have you seen that change throughout your career, and like how have you adjusted to that?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why I went left and really doubled down on stepping away. I watched my streaming revenue just keep dropping and dropping and dropping.
As an independent artist, I'm sure that's not fun to watch.
Yo, bro, like I'm put everything into this album that I have financially. Like I'm not in a great place right now, but like I watched it go down because I stopped dropping. Right, it's like everything's designed to like keep dropping, and I was just like, but I felt uninspired by a lot of the things being made because it was more about output and these words that on their face they seem good, right? Like consistency, or resilience, consistency, like these things, but they're kind of co-opted. It's like, if you're making so many videos, so many freestyles, so many albums, then it's like, oh, we made the album in a week. That's the bragging point. And it's like,
that's like everyone's bragging point, how fast they can make a song.
And it sounds like that. You made it in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And which sometimes is the sauce, but not always. Yeah. It's like, it takes how long it takes, and we all have imperatives that we have to meet financially. Like, that's just the reality. But that's why I was just like, I do see a watering down of the stuff that's coming out musically. And that's why I think a lot of it is not lasting, because if you don't put all of yourself into it, I mean, Together Sad, you brought up that song. So the first verse of that song, I don't remember exactly which year. I believe it was 23. But I took almost a year and a half between writing the first verse and the second verse.
Damn.
Because the story wasn't over. I didn't know what to say in the second verse yet, because I was living it out. You know what I mean? I didn't know how I felt. Like, it's done when it's done, man. And of course I could have finished it, but I don't know. I just think sometimes you can have your stuff that's quick, that you need to do, that's a little easier, it's like we can enjoy that. That's what that is. But I think that there's this imperative and this demand. It's not like artist's fault, it's like there's this demand to put so much shit out, and it can water things down. Yeah,
you can do the short, quick stuff with intention, like you're saying, in a way that it's cool. But I think people, and like, as someone who's a creator, I fall in the same trap all the time. It's just like, you gotta post, I'm like, and then you start doing things like, I just give a hot take on something that then, like, in 3 days, I'm like, I don't really think I feel that way, but now it's on the internet forever. Like, that's my opinion on something, and I didn't really think about it. I just had to post as fast as I could because I'm in a race to be the first to react to this and that. Like, it's not resulting in my best quality of work to be first.
Exactly. And then nothing means anything. And that's how you end up in the political climate that we're in and the information climate that we're in, because it's just a race every day to say something that will go viral. But then there's no accountability to the things that we've said. And it's just a dangerous game that we're playing. It's just a dangerous game. And I don't really know what the answer is, because that's what I struggle with, and I built my career off being consistent with content. Like, when I started doing the Craft Style series back in, I guess it was 2016, it was monthly. Back then it was enough for it to be monthly, not daily, you know what I mean? But I was doing these freestyles in my room, and it was something people could count on, and it was a growth thing, and some of them went viral, and consistency was like the model. So I see all this shit going on. Like, it's not like I don't know or understand or have the appreciation for how I got here. But at a certain point, man, I don't know. Because the other thing, bro, these people don't listen to albums. These people that talk about music and that, like, get on these shows, a lot of these people, I could just tell, bro, I don't think they listen to albums. And I know I'm not the only person that, like, feels
you're saying
that
other
way.
artists or creators or everyone, like, what
creators and commentators, like cultural commentators around music and hip hop particularly. Like, I can tell, they get on and give a take about an album that's like their word on the album and whatever. And I'm like, amongst all the million other takes that they're giving every single day, they're not saying anything of, like, real depth. People are putting this shit on in the background on the car on the way home and skipping through the shit while they're watching TV, and then going on and, like, they're supposed to be like the real upholders of what do they feel about music, and people are looking to them to taste make or whatever. And I don't even really think that they're listening like that.
No.
That's my hypothesis, and that's what it seems like.
I mean, I agree, and to be honest, like, that is also partially why, like, when I got into doing the music content, I was hesitant to do it years ago, and I kind of, like, would only half dip my toe into being like, I talk about music, because I was like, well, I'm a white guy and I'm talking about hip hop. No one's gonna take my opinion seriously. And then eventually I started seeing, like, there's these people, they didn't start listening to hip hop till like 2 years ago. I could tell they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. People are taking, like, well, I actually love it. Like, I actually love listening to this shit. They don't, and they're successful. Like, so fuck it. And then it started working.
But that's the thing, like you now in the climate that we're in, you have to hold yourself to a standard. No one's gonna, because the climate doesn't dictate it. You could just sift through an album and give a bullshit take and go on. So there's no one but you. And that's where we talk about words like integrity that I think we need to value more. You know, I mean, I remember back in the day when J. Cole was like, your one take reviews are your one listen reviews are fucking up hip hop, right? And then DJ Booth started the series where they would call it the one listen review. And they would do the listen like the night the album dropped. And so that it was an honest about what it was. It was like, this is just my first listen. So as they were typing and writing the article, as they were listening, responding to the music for the first time, which was cool because it was like, this is exactly what this is. But that at that point, we still felt the need for it to be labeled. There was still discussion around it. Now, everything is a one listen review, bro. If that's like a half listen review, people are just getting on like, this is what the album is. Is there a way we can memeify it? Yes, cool. Run that for a week. Is there nothing memeable about it? No? All right, cool. Whatever. And they move on. There are still people doing really great work, and it's important to highlight. Like, I've seen this one random article on Substack got to me. My dad sent it to me. I wish I remember who wrote it, but it was about the album, and I was like moved by it because it was real music journalism, and he described that some of the songs and lyrics in a way that made me feel so seen that I was moved. Like, that was his art. And I was like, damn, bro, like, this is what I'm talking about. You know, obviously Rob and I just had a good interview. I feel like this is an in-depth interview. You know, other people have written pieces. So I don't want to get so deep and jaded in it that we're highlighting just the negative. But man, it does seem like it's so hard to, it can feel like doing the good work is shouting into the void a little bit sometimes, but it ain't.
Yeah, and it's also hard just because like with how fast everything is, like a lot of people don't have the patience for nuance. So then people are kind of, you're in a battle of like, how can I give like an in-depth take but still hold their attention? And like that's why like the Substack guy, like a lot of times those people who are writing full like big long album reviews, like those aren't as popular now as they used to be in the blog era and those things, but that's a space where people can like really flesh out and like really analyze it, and the video shit is not, it's not for that, but that's what we're consuming now.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I just don't have the energy to negotiate that. I've had moments where I've tried where it's been like, all right, how can I like chop this up in a way that's going to hook people and whatever.
Yeah, I'm doing that every day.
Yeah, and I just don't have it in me anymore. And it's important because you're putting people on the music through that work, like you're existing in the space that, and I saw when you highlighted my album that different people discovered it or hit me up and whose eyeballs were on it. And I thought, you do things in depth. You obviously care and you listen a lot, and that's why I'm here. And so it's important to have people in that space that are doing that. But I just like have it in me less and less to negotiate with the space. It's like, this is what we made and this is how we think it looks the best. And like, this is how, and like, I'll chop it vertical if it looks better, but like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't have it in me because it just fucking kills me, man. And it's just like, and it's tough and there's a monetary price to it, but I'm still here. So,
and you think, I feel like your fans though will appreciate that you're doing that and staying true to yourself and not chasing something else, which is also something you talk about a lot in the album. You like learned over time, like I'm going to stop chasing and just kind of be content with where things are.
Yeah, man. I try to play the long game. I've been around long enough to see that the stuff that lasts, it lasts. Viral comes and goes in a day. The stuff that you make, if it's affecting people, it can be really hard. You can get numb. You see one person or two people or three people leave you comments, send you messages about how much they resonate with the album and how this is their favorite song or they've been listening to it or this, that, and the third. And that should be enough for our souls. But sometimes it's not. Like sometimes you wish that your shit was ringing off in the streets and everyone was talking about your shit and it was like a moment, But the truth is that like those moments, they don't always last. But the people that really make impact in people's lives and reach out with their soul, bare their soul, and it reaches another soul. I said at my show the other day, it's like if some kids or people, whoever, that are digging in some vinyl shop in like 30 years from now and they find like in the fucking $2 bin. The internet killed the neighborhood, and they're just like, what is this? This looks cool. And they take that shit home and they play it, and they're like, yo, these motherfuckers want some shit. Like, to me, like, that's what it's about. I did my duty and my job. The rest is just trying to figure out how to pay the bills. You know what I mean? So
that is an interesting scenario to put out there, because it is like the album is very much like a time capsule of like the current moment we're in, the current state of where everything's at. So it will be interesting to like listen to it 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and kind of see like how much things have changed, what got better, what got worse, like, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, only time will tell. And that is the thing too about trying to make something that lasts, you know. It's possible that we could look back on this album and I could just be like, maybe my next album is the one where I really unlock the shit and to make something timeless. Maybe my next one after that, where it's like, oh, I like stepped on Internet Killed the Neighborhood and another album and then went this direction with it, and that's the piece that really stands the test of time. I don't know, but it's, you know, it's not about the instant gratification. It's just about, you know, I know with all my heart that I gave my all to this album, that at this moment in my life, at this chapter, it was the absolute best that I could do. And as much as I've given myself, you know, to my other projects, I did my best to get them over the finish line. And I did, but I don't feel the same way. Like this was the apex of what I was capable of at this point in time. And I already feel like I'm better from it. I feel so much better. I'm ready to make new music and get into a new groove, because I don't think it's the best thing I'll ever make. But that, you know, gives me some peace, you know.
Yeah. All right, we're going for a while. I'm trying to think like if I had anything else on the track list. Sedatives is probably my favorite song sonically.
Dope.
I love Sedatives. We talked a lot about what that song's about, so don't even dive into it. I love that song. Find Me and Look Around. Good rapping on there. There's a few lines that I wanted to. I liked talking about the callback lines. What song was it? It might be Unapologetic. You had the line about Sotomayor, and then like something about your fresh kicks, and then you kind of did a callback. Am I right? And like the last line of the next verse, you said something about
the Sotomayor and glowed up kicks.
Yeah, your Sotomayor glowed up kicks, and then you say, I wouldn't dare judge the despair of a pair I ain't wear. Like,
in the third verse. Nah, yeah. Actually, you know what's funny? So that song, Unapologetic, we started in 2021, and I did the first verse and the third verse. And that second verse was open for a long time. I think maybe originally I was hoping I'd get a feature on it or something.
Oh.
And then I wrote that second verse more recently, like in the last year. So it's cool how it worked out that way. And maybe, but I think it was unintentional.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this album is really good. Like I said, I think you did an excellent job. Like your MC skills are unquestioned, but I think this is like excellent. Like everything. I love the production on this. I actually I interviewed Cartoons last year.
Oh, that's my guy.
Yeah, and he worked on The Neighborhood. Right.
Yeah.
And I had somehow we were just like talking in the DMs a little before your album came out. And he was telling me like, yo, I just was working on Marlon's album. It's real. Like he was hyping it up and really proud of the work he did on it. So I think you have a production credit on that song too, right?
Yeah, that's fire. So when I got that beat, we didn't know each other. And then I made the song and everything like that, and then we linked up and we've become friends like recently, and we have some really cool like shit we've been working on, some new shit. And he's just like such a dope dude. I'm such a fan. Like I told him, I was like, bro, you're like in my Spotify Wrapped. Like I really fuck with, you know, it's like that like soul, 70s soul informed, hip hop, jazz informed, you know, just like soul moving music.
He's awesome.
He's really dope.
Yeah. So yeah, the album's great. What can people expect from you for the rest of the year?
We got some shows to announce. We're trying to bring the band, man. That's how I want to present this art. That's how I want to do it. So it's going to be a slow drip of shows, and hopefully we build it and people will come, because it's too expensive to get out there on the road with the full band and just do the whole big tour. But we got some shows coming up. We're going to hit the road a little bit, and we got some shows at home. I'm just gonna be talking about this album, man. We got some live band versions of the songs to release, both videos and vinyl of the album, and then some live versions as well that we're gonna be rolling out, because we've done a bunch of them. And yeah, I really just want to sit in this album, man, for the rest of the year. I want this year to be about this album. I I want to keep drawing back to. I want to keep unfolding it, talking about it. I'm gonna be outside this year heavy.
Yeah. We were talking about before the interview, but people aren't pushing they're moving on too quick, just like all the content that's getting pushed. They're promoting it before in the lead up, and then once it's out, they're kind of not, really giving the music the time it deserves. And I definitely think this is a body of work that deserves, attention and like people to make sure people hear it because it's very good. So I appreciate you doing this. We didn't say it, but me and Marlon were also talking about when we were talking to DMs to set this up. We realized I had hit him up in 2019 asking him to do an interview. So it didn't happen then, but we ended up making it happen like 7 years later. So appreciate you doing this, and go check out The Internet Killed the Neighborhood.
Hell yeah. Thank you for having me, man.
You,
long time coming. Yes, sir. My guy.